Well, good afternoon, and welcome again to Thinking Tuesday. Glad you could join me. As you know, every Tuesday at noon, we get together to examine our thinking, to support each other. We look at our thinking, we ask if our thoughts are serving us correctly. If you are seeking to elevate your thinking or reinforce your positive thoughts, if you are seeking to challenge yourself by confronting thinking that is not working for you, then you're in the right place. This is what we do every Tuesday at noon. And as some of you might know, and those who are joining for the first time do not know, our slogan is, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. So choose which one. We choose to grow flowers here on Thinking Tuesday, which are those positive thoughts and positive mindset that pave the way to successful personal and professional goal and attain your dreams and your goals. Successful personal growth and the attainment of your goals and your dreams. That's what we're about on Thinking Tuesday. They help to forge positive relationships, those positive thoughts, and those positive values. They help us to forge positive relationships in our personal as well as our professional lives. So we get rid of those negative, self-limiting beliefs that create obstacles to our advancement. Isn't that what you want? I know that's what I want for me, and I trust that if you're here, that's what you want for yourself as well. So again, welcome. So today I want to share a simple but important message on values. As you will recall last Tuesday on my last talk, I talked about making a decision to attend my International Coaches Convention virtually this week instead of in person. Well, yesterday was the big day, was the opening, and we discussed, among many other topics, one important topic that I want to share with you today on values, because it goes to the heart, right to the heart of what we do here on Thinking Tuesday. We talked yesterday and had great teaching yesterday about values and the importance of values. And it's not that we don't know that, but it's reinforced each time, because we need to reinforce sometimes those things that we think about and examine how are they showing up in our lives. First of all, we all as coaches identify ourselves in the John Maxwell International Coaching Team, of which I'm a member, as people of value who value people and add value to people. Note where it begins. It begins with you. It begins with me. I have to identify myself as a person of value in order to value other people and add value to them. Because as I often say, you can't give what you don't have. If you don't value yourself, if I don't value myself, it is difficult, if not impossible, to value others. Because values are key in establishing relationships, whether they're good relationships or bad relationships. But we buy into the values of the groups, the organization, the culture that we live in. Values are the glue, so to speak, to hold people together, to hold families together. We know that values can be negative or positive, and the values we buy into will determine the people we tend to follow and the people who tend to follow us. So of course, here on Thinking Tuesday, we promote positive values which lift others up instead of tearing them down. We are building a community of positive and possibility thinkers. I just love those words, positive and possibility thinkers. That's what I want to be known for. That's what I do. Values are like a magnet because they attract like-minded people. So if you find yourself in a relationship, in a group or an organization, or a workplace that is dysfunctional, you should really begin to question the values that support the culture of that group, that relationship, the organization, or the place of business. Because unfortunately, so often we find that we speak of positive values, but we don't live them. We don't live up to them. And I know we'll make mistakes from time to time, but we really have to truly examine and determine if we're living up to the values that we espouse. Evidence of that is what's happening in the country and the world today. We speak of equality and equity and inclusion, for example, but we're distrustful of those who don't look like us, who don't speak like us. We tend to marginalize people. We set up artificial barriers to keep others in their place, wherever that place is that we deem is their place. But I'm an optimist. I believe that we all have the ability to change our thinking and our behavior. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I do. And I've seen the evidence. I see that it's possible. I believe that we all have a spirit of resilience. And we just need to have someone who believes in us and who can take us by the hand and help us to do those things that we are capable of doing. So I want to stop for a moment and ask you, I'd like you to reflect on this question. What are your values? What values are shaping your choices and your behavior? Are you attracting the type of people in your life that are reflective of the values you say you hold dear? And if you're not, then it's time to reevaluate your values and to determine whether or not you are just talking the talk but not walking the walk. Talking the talk is very easy, but walking the walk, walking the talk can be very challenging. Challenging, but it doesn't mean we give up. So one of the principles that I share with my coaching clients in helping them in assessing and plotting their personal and professional roadmap is from the law of the environment. The law of the environment, which says that growth thrives in conducive surroundings. Growth thrives in conducive surroundings. If we want to change our lives, we must first be willing to change ourselves. Many times we try to change everything around us, but not ourselves. This is where our values are truly tested. And as I said, oftentimes we want to change things in our lives, we want to change people in our lives, but we're not willing to do the type of self-examination to help us identify the changes that we have to make in ourselves. Don't you find that? I'm not, I'm not saying anything that I have not been confronted with. So you have to put yourself in conducive surroundings, surroundings conducive to growth. One of those examinations has to do with the values that we live by. And do we value ourselves enough? Because that's a big question. Do we value ourselves enough to make those difficult decisions, to give up those things that are uncomfortable, but that are not conducive to our growth? Because it's easy to hold on to those things that are comfortable when they clash with our values. but they're not conducive to our growth. So another question for you, are you willing to give up people whose values are steering you in the wrong direction? What are you doing to get out of those circles, those groups, those relationships that are steering you in the wrong direction? Because we don't get what we want, we get who we are. So we can say that we don't want certain things to be happening in our lives, but if that's the way we show up, that's what we're going to get. So checking your values will give you some insight into this. Are you willing to give up those thoughts that are supporting values that are contradictory to what you're seeking for yourself? Because your thoughts drives your actions. Your thoughts drive your actions. So are you willing to give up those thoughts that are supporting values that are contrary to what you say you're seeking? And are you willing to give up those, or are you willing to find a community of people who will support your dreams and your desires? People whose values are in concert with those that you would like to develop or adopt. We have to be in it to benefit from it. So what are you willing to take yourself out of or put yourself into to have those values that you would like to have develop, to have them develop in a supportive community? So check your environment. Check your environment. Does it consist of those people who are possibility thinkers? That's a phrase that I just love. Possibility thinkers, as opposed to negative naysayers. Those who tear down versus building up. Those who are encouragers and see value in you. Those are the people that you need to find. Those are the people that you need to enclose yourself with, surround yourself with. As you begin to assess your values and value yourself, you will begin to make those decisions that will move you forward towards your dreams and your goals, instead of keeping you in a place of stagnation and those self-imposed boxes that we often put ourselves in. Sometimes we do a better job of putting ourselves or putting limits on ourselves than other people do. And then they just reinforce what we think and how we show up. You'll also begin to, as you begin to assess your values and value yourself, you also begin to attract other like-minded people in your life. By changing your mindset, you will change your personal landscape as well. You'll begin to see things differently. Things begin to change. The more you look at things and want to change them, the more things change. You begin to not only attract like-minded people, but opportunities that once eluded you will become available to you. Not because they've not been there before, but because you're now making yourself available to accept them. You feel valued, and you feel that you deserve to add value to yourself. And then you can add value to others. So as you value yourself, you develop that ability to value others, as I said before, and your ability to add value to others. You have something now you can give to someone, and then it starts a ripple effect. Then they have something that they can give to others, and that's the way it goes. Not rocket science. So as I mentioned last week, I replenished myself during my vacation. I reflected, I was re-energized, and this week I'm replenishing intellectually by putting myself in the midst of a community of positive thinkers, positive people, where we share similar values of valuing ourselves, valuing others like you, and we have a desire to add value to others. So I value you. I hope, as usual, that this will be something that you find helpful. I trust that I've added value to you today, and that you will add value to someone else by sharing this information with them. Curiously enough, when you add value to others, it has a boomerang effect. Value comes back to you as well. It feels good when you feel that you have something to give, doesn't it? So I'm going to sign off now and return to my conference. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at noon for another episode of Thinking Tuesday. Remember to be good to yourself. Don't be afraid to make those decisions that will add value to you and to take you in the direction that you aspire to go. I invite you to visit my website, drcherylburton.com, to see the programs and services that I offer for your personal and professional growth. And always feel free to reach out to me through the contact information listed on my website for a confidential, complimentary consultation on any issue with which you need some assistance. So take care. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Be good to yourself, as I said, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye for now. Take care.